Hello, everybody, and welcome. I am Bricker Boom, and it's time for another episode of Pokemon by Daylight, once again with friends. So, today we're going to be covering Yoichi, Jonah, and Leon, and Yoichi will be bred by my best friend for 18 years. That seems right because math is hard. Is going to be read by Ronefero. And then Leon is going to be read by a wonderful Boo VTuber, Weegeeb00. Both of their links are going to be listed below, but let's go ahead, hop into Yoichi's backstory.
As a child, Yoichi gained an interest in the supernatural from his parents, when an inexplicable curse claimed both of their lives. As an adult, Yoichi graduated with top honors in marine biology from a university in Tokyo, and following in his father's footsteps, became the youngest professor in school's history. But his career began to unravel when two of his students disappeared while doing research in Izu Oshima. The mere mention of Izu Oshima triggered painful memories from his past, deep, hidden memories that bubbled up from the murky black depths of his subconscious. Blurred faces on images, twisted mouths, inexplicable deaths suddenly filled his mind. The shouts of people calling him a monster, and then the monster. Sadako rose from the abyss to let him know the curse was not over. It would not ever be over. Thirsting for truth, Yoichi entered a frenzy of research into the fringes of parapsychology, cryptozoology, theology, and folk history. The more he expanded his field of expertise, the more he was ridiculed and ostracized. Once viewed as a brilliant young mind, Yoichi was now considered an eccentric and a liability. In mere months, the university terminated his position. Undeterred, Yoichi sought professorship at other schools, but no reputable college in Japan would take him. As a last resort, he approached media outlets, and by some twist of fate, the company where his mother had worked at as a journalist offered to fund his research in exchange for articles and first publishing rights to his story. During this difficult time, Yoichi's father returned to him, his spirit silently goading him to continue the course he had chosen. And so, working around the clock in his tiny Tokyo apartment, he allied himself with other researchers in the paranormal field. Within months, he came across a story that mirrored the disappearances of his students. 4 vloggers had mysteriously disappeared near a lighthouse in Scotland. With a great sense of urgency, Yoichi took the first flight he could to Glasgow. A professor at a local university had come to many of the same conclusions as he had nearly 70 years earlier when a film crew disappeared near the very same lighthouse. There was some kind of intelligence in the water, some kind of darkness calling from the sea like an ancient siren. As Yoichi examined the research, his father suddenly appeared to let him know he was on the right path. Guided by his father, Yoichi chartered a fishing boat and headed towards a small cluster of islands known as the Seven Hunters. Darkness fell as they approached the isles. The lighthouse, now automated and controlled remotely, sputtered and winked out of existence like a dying star. The ocean began to stir violently, lightning flashed, and the fishermen begged Yoichi to turn back, but Yoichi refused. He was too close and would not be deterred. As they argued, the ocean raged and tossed the ship high and low. Then one giant wave lifted the boat as high as a house and dashed it into pieces against the dark, jagged rocks. Yoichi didn't remember much after that. He remembered falling into the water. He remembered swimming to the landing where he saw his father standing on the gallery of the lighthouse, beckoning him. He remembered staggering through the black fog as he climbed the stairs. He remembered the water level rising with every step until the frothing mouth of the raging ocean swallowed him whole. Yoichi Asakawa is a brilliant marine biologist and psychic whose knowledge and abilities allow him to protect himself and assist others. His perks allow him to hide from killers, call out to injured survivors, and help others move faster.
So, with Yoichi, I think that the best team that would suit him would be Ampharos, due to him being a marine biologist and knowing quite a bit about the ocean. Ampharos in Heart Gold Soul Silver was introduced as basically a working lighthouse. Dragonite, due to this being a Pokemon that rescues drowning people, And if you remember in the anime, it is presented as rising from the ocean. I'm sure it's a callback to Godzilla. Lapras, due to it loving carrying people across the ocean. Espeon, due to its Pokedex entry saying that it can predict the weather and it has psychic abilities much like Yoichi does. Wailord, due to him being a marine biologist, and how would you be able to miss a Wailord floating around? And then finally, Kingdra, once again, due to his profession, it makes sense that he would have a fairly aquatic team. So, with that being said, Yoichi's full team would be Ampharos, Dragonite, Lapras, Espeon, Wailord, and Kingdra. Next up here, we have Jonah, so let's go ahead and hop into his backstory.
But I took basically a lot of Jonah's stuff, threw it out the window, and kept what the cool stuff was. Just but basically, like, obviously with all the characters, go check out the Wikia. But he was long story short, too long didn't read. He's a CIA code breaker.
Oh, that's kind of
What?
badass. What?
Yeah, you didn't know that?
No, I legitimately have never
You
read
didn't know his backstory? He came out with the artist, so him and her story kind of meld together a little bit if you remember hers.
Yeah.
Vaguely,
So
yeah.
it's
Dude's
gonna be fun.
kind of a badass. All right, let's go.
Yeah. Alright, so here we go. From an early age, Jonah Vasquez's mastery of numbers was almost supernatural. He saw vast worlds within simple structures and patterns, seeking further knowledge from history's great mathematicians. On his 16th birthday, he received an unaddressed card. There was nothing within it but a string of numbers, two sets of five numbers and two long negative numbers. It was a puzzle, perhaps a gift from his math teacher or a relative who knew of his penchant for solving brain teasers. But somehow this was different. While he immediately recognized there were GPS coordinates, quickly discovering that they led to a location in Chile, the other numbers meant nothing to him. Every attempt he made led to failure. Over time, he abandoned the puzzle, convinced it was flawed. Upon graduating from college, he was hired as a code breaker by the CIA. On his first day, written in his employee handbook, were the numbers from years ago, the same ones from the card. A tension in the back of his neck materialized, a feeling that he was being toyed with. He returned to the puzzle, only to discover that his years of experience would reveal no one new information. Those numbers haunted him. He saw them when he closed his eyes. They clung to his sleepless mind, begging for attention. He checked the coordinates he had years ago. It was nothing but a Chilean graveyard. He logged into the CIA database and searched the history of the location. Only one hit came up, a cold case where bodies were found in the area and corpses were eaten by hundreds of crows. Jonah couldn't let the mystery go on any longer. The numbers had followed him all his life, and he was ready to follow them. He booked a ticket to Chile without anyone's knowledge. It was time to see what was so special about those coordinates. He found himself under the sweltering sun, standing in the graveyard of a ghost town. There was nothing but dust and bones. Jonah spit into the dirt and puzzled over those numbers once more. He slumped next to an old grave, under the eyes of a watchful crow. He missed home. He missed the time before the complexities of the universe came crashing down upon him. He looked out at the old derelict buildings on one side and the sweeping desert on the other. Then Jonah understood. He was analyzing the code from his own experiences, his own view of the world. There was so much he overlooked. With feverish devotion, he considered what the numbers could signify for other cultures. Ancient Egyptian measurements, Persian,
Yes.
Persian. Yep,
Persian.
num, 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 num. Persian currencies and antiquated calendars. He finally understood. He sifted through his knowledge of ancient civilizations before coming to the Tanrian. I'm so good at words calendar. Plugging in the numbers as dates, he converted the first half of them over to the Gregorian calendar. He wasn't prepared for the number it would reveal his birthday. The world spiraled around him. With sweaty palms, he calculated the remaining numbers. It gave him another date. Today. The code, it was about Jonah, at this location, at this moment. His hands shook. His heart pounded against his ribs. Was he part of a prophecy, or had someone led him down this path? He didn't know. For once, numbers no longer made sense. A heavy fatigue came over him, and the world shifted in impossible ways. He knew the equations behind nature. He knew that what he saw couldn't be. Crows caught in the distance. He considered that he was once more a child, and the numbers nothing more than a horrible dream. Trapped in nostalgic thoughts, he didn't notice the dark fog seeping from the grass, swirling its way toward him. Crows flew from the branches, screeching relentlessly, flying in a circle above. It was too late when he recognized the scent on the breeze. It was blood. Jonah Vasquez is a mathematical mastermind, able to use logic to help his team. His perks allow him to quickly flee, correct failed skill checks, and treat dying survivors. The end.
With Jonah's backstory, we think that the best team for him would be Slowking, due to Slowking's Ruby Pokedex entry stating it undertakes research daily in an effort to solve the mysteries of the world, very much in character for someone like them. Alakazam, due to the fact it's just very, very smart. Golisopod, due to the ability Emergency Exit, where he runs, and that comparing well to the Overcome for Jonah, since he runs faster upon being hit. Golurk, due to him being a CIA cracker, a Pokemon surrounding itself with unending energy would probably be pretty appealing to somebody like him. Oranguru, once again, just due to the fact that it is Big Smart. And then finally, Shiftry, due to the CIA being shifty. Or it's because Shiftry is able to predict movements much like he can. I'm gonna let you decide. I'm going with the pun. Last but not least, up today, we have Leon. Let's go ahead and hop into the backstory.
Character info reading for Leon S. Kennedy. Having faced hordes of zombies on his first day as a police officer, Leon S. Kennedy had to learn the job quickly. Investigating the biohazard that had ravaged Raccoon City, Leon infiltrated an abandoned Umbrella Corporation laboratory where a sudden and unexpected black fog led him astray. Breaker Boom, you're awesome.
So, with Leon, I think the best team that would work with him is, first of all, Pikachu, due to Flashbang that Leon carries, and Pikachu knowing the move Flash. Poliwrath, due to it being a brawny Pokemon who never tires, and clearly Leon doesn't in the video games, partly because video game logic, but you just see him blasting his way through hordes of zombies. And then this is going to be a 3-for-1, but we think Venusaur, Charizard, and Blastoise, due to the fact that both games released in 1996, it kind of makes sense that if we would be crossing the universes here, Leon would be a rookie trainer meeting for the first time Bulbasaur, Charmander, and Squirtle. So we wanted to go ahead and just give him all three. And then finally, Gyarados. Due to Gyarados destroying everything in its path, like Leon is, again, essentially has to with the different hordes of zombies. So, he has a very starter-heavy team, but we have Pikachu, Poliwrath, Venusaur, Blastoise, Charizard, and Gyarados. And with that, it's another Pokemon by Daylight in the books. I hope you enjoyed this particular episode. Actually, at the time of recording this, I'm getting ready to hop into another recording session with Aaron and the baby Rhino to go ahead and get this taken care of. But I really hope that you are enjoying this. I've been focusing mostly on my Pokemon content, as I'm sure you could tell by the drastic change in the channel. Going from daily videos to once-a-week videos, it's just been helping a lot for, one, time management, and two, it's been helping me be able to recharge. But again, I really do hope that you are enjoying this series, because we have more series that we're going to be diving into, and this one is done. But as always, if you like the video, even if you didn't like the video, hit the like and subscribe button, because it really does help me out. And until next time, everybody, peace out.
I don't want to taste my bad decisions. Can you imagine this ghostly guy just popping up and, yeah, that's my boy, and eats himself out of existence? I would have died.
That's you just explained the first 3 seasons of Supernatural.